Hi, welcome to BS Garage. On this one is another weekend thrash. Get my Terminator X system mounted up. I go through the harness, I take out what I don't need, I shorten it up in order to fit the engine exactly. I also get the rest of the front end on, shifter, and the rear end is assembled. Like all the lights and stuff. It's pretty awesome. Let's go. Going to be running the Terminator X Max system because it gets drive-by-wire and also controls for transmission. Ignore the mess. This isn't the way it comes in the box. I've had this open many a times in order to sort through what I have and don't have. First off, though, I want to mount... Not that. Where is it? ECU? Did I never even open this? Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hold on. One-handed. Not talented at all. There we go. Watch me drop it. That'd be funny. Oh, it's a lot smaller than I thought. That's what she said. Yeah, so I gotta mount this. I want to mount it underneath the passenger seat. So I have the passenger seat mocked up. Throw that in there. So my plan is kind of mount it somewhere like that, right? And then have all my wires run through out underneath there and then come along here and then go through the firewall there in order to get to the engine up there. So I'm gonna mock up and knock out a mounting system to make sure that this is vibration free and up off the floor. Obviously this is all gonna get carpeted eventually, but I want to make sure that this has plenty of room and easy access so I can get at it. So after figuring out the location of where I wanted the ECU to land, I basically drilled out the holes, and then I have isolator things that isolate. So it's M6 on both ends, and then I have M6 nutserts inside the body. Best tool ever right here. And then this will just go ahead, go on like that, hold it down with a couple of nuts, and it has nice clearance for the carpet and everything like that, and it's rubber isolated, so it'll really dampen down on vibrations and stuff like that. Hopefully keep this thing happy. Not that they have an issue, but like, I don't know, I just like it raised up on some rubber. With the Holley Terminator X mounted up here, I am going through and just starting to lay all my wires out. So I have the main power and ground here that goes back to the battery. I've got some loose wires. I gotta kind of figure out what they do and connect them later. And then this is the transmission. Comes up, goes in, goes to the transmission, and I have the drive-by wire here that goes to the pedal, and then this one goes to the drive-by wire throttle body. The mains, though, I'm kind of finagling with. So I just want both the fuse and the relay. So this controls your injectors, I believe. I want them closer to the plug in order to hide it under the seat better. Otherwise, it's going to come out by the tunnel somewhere, and that it would just be dumb. And I need all this length in order to make sure that everything goes where it needs to go. Also, if any of these need to be adjusted, oops, as I tip that over, I will go ahead and unloom this and adjust them, and because I want them all to be predetermined for the exact length that they need to be. So that's what I'm just kind of working on now. And I need to integrate, where is it? Here it is. So this is from Sloppy Mechanics. Sloppy, I forget his name now. Sloppy. Everybody knows who that guy is. He makes these harnesses that is basically plug and play. So this plugs into the alternator to excite the alternator, because you need that. And then also it has, where's the other end? Where's the other end? Here. Okay, so that's my flex fuel sensor end. And then that plugs into one of these plugs here somewhere. Not that one. One of them that's just shut off. Anyway, it just basically plugs into this harness, but I want to integrate it into the harness so that it's all ran together with it. And then that's just a signal wire in order to let you know, or let the ECU know kind of like what the flex fuel sensor is doing. So I'm just trying to like get it all tidied up and everything where it needs to be. And then I'll loom it all back up and then that will be done. So I know this may look a little scary, but I assure you it's fine. So I got the main harness here plugged in, kind of have it where I want it to be routed. And then it goes up through and through the firewall there. And then it comes out on the engine side here. And I'm basically trying to predetermine where everything needs to go. So based on unloomed it, deloomed it, whatever you want to say. And then I'm just going my furthest one, which is the coolant temp sensor. And then I'm basically working my way back from there. And then I'm taking up all the slack after that. So coolant temp sensor, and then it'll integrate into the alternator wire. And then I have the inlet air temperature sensor here. And then I have fuel pressure and so on and so forth. Just all the sensors. I just want to make sure that they're all predetermined on where they need to be for each sensor. And I'm basically getting rid of the IAC and the throttle position sensor because I don't need these because I'm running drive-by-wire. If I was running a cable system, I would. So I'm basically just going to eliminate these altogether, kind of like make it a little bit less bulky. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start taping these up where they need to be, pull the whole harness back out, and then re-loom it all, and then it should be good to go and predetermined for this setup. Get the harness all redone, tidied up, looking pretty, predetermined, all loomed back up. Oh, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't. It's pretty late, but that's all the crap I took out. IAC, throttle position sensor, knock sensor, stuff like that. So this is kind of the ends now. Nice and pretty, easy to hide, no extra. Looking good. So I'm gonna throw this in a minute. Then I'm gonna go to bed and pick it back up tomorrow. There we go, got it all hooked up. Nothing is sticking out of place or anything. I love it. So the majority of the wiring is getting hidden by the vacuum source right there for the brake booster. Yeah, like alternator, coolant temp sensor. Then it all runs behind there and then it splits off everywhere because all the sensors are pretty much in this area right here. All behind there. Nice, clean, simple. Routed nice and clean. So yeah, like this is my inputs and outputs, auxiliary inputs, outputs. I think key switch, ground I gotta hook up. This is fuel pump. This goes directly to battery for the relay to do, as I'm yawning, relay for ignition coils and fuse right there. So that needs to go, like I said, directly to battery. So let's just gotta run back there. And this is transmission stuff. I don't know exactly what these all do. I'm guessing one's like keyed source. Maybe one's I don't know. I gotta look into that. But that one's on the transmission harness. So yeah, I am trying to keep them separated because I have heard of RF issues. So the further that you can keep them apart from each other, I think the better. I didn't want to run them all like in a big clump, so this should work out nicely. Next thing I think I'm going to tackle, I'm going to throw the shifter in and get it all to play nice with that 4L80E. I am running the Outlaw X series from TCI. Got my custom base that I built a little bit ago. Need some paint, so I'm going to paint this thing up, mount it all up, figure out what brackets and stuff I need from the kit, and get everything to work correctly. So I went ahead and dropped my pan. One reason is because I modified the stock dipstick. So this is the stock dipstick, usually was up here, but I modified it, cut it down, bent it around, and then cut the end of it and made my own marks. I wanted to make sure that that would actually read full when it was full. So I just had to double check that. It's good to go there. But also, while installing it, I dropped it. I didn't drop it, but it fell off the wood and I got a little dent there and it beat up the paint pretty bad and not really liking this so much. So I'm going to touch this up and then throw it back on. Went ahead, pounded that dent out, and I used the VHT, the wrinkle black. Just kind of touched up the areas that were scratched up, and now it looks perfectly good again. Perfectly good enough. So I'm gonna throw it back in. It's nice and dry, and then work on that shifter linkage. So nowhere on here does it mention anything about a 4L80E. It's not really meant for it. But I'm gonna make it work for it. I can't find anywhere where the bolt holes will line up and it'll be comfortable. So I'm gonna have to modify, as I drop it, this a little bit in order to make it work. But first off, I need to run my cable. Hi, baby. So yeah, I gotta run the cable. The way GMs go, it's got to go loop down, around, and then back to the linkage. So I got to drill a hole somewhere in here because I want to keep it underneath the center console I don't have yet, but I'm going to build. So I'm just going to drill a hole and run this, and then just kind of like eyeball where that bracket's going to be the happiest, and then modify the bracket in order to fit where the cable is going to be happy, if that makes sense. So drill a hole, put this through. Got the cable ran through the floor, got a grommet right there to kind of protect it in order to stop it from scraping against the sheet metal, obviously. So next up, the linkage setup. So let's go under here. So I didn't have to modify this. I thought I was gonna have to, I didn't have to. So it's in park right now, transmission's in park right now. And basically I gotta take this guy, thread it on here, and see where it's comfortable, right? So it'll fit in here after being threaded on there. And then after that, I'll go up, I'll change the shifter. I'll put the shifter in reverse, and then I'll put the transmission in reverse. And then I'll take this out, and then I'll put it back in. And if it fits in comfortably, then I know it's the correct hole. And I'm just gonna go through that with every single gear. Change it at the selector and change it at the transmission to make sure it's happy in every single spot. That way you know you're getting good engagement on every single shifter spot. So I'm gonna go through that in a minute, and then that should be it for this. It's all set up. Definitely got my squats in for that because you're just constantly getting up and down, adjusting the shifter and then adjusting the linkage and making sure it's all happy. Literally took me an hour in order to get it all where I want it to be. I was super picky about it. I really wanted to make sure that I got it in drive and third the happiest, because that's where it's going to spend most of its time when it's being hard driven. Because of the D3 trans brake, I can put it in third, leave it in there. I can run it off the trans brake off that, and it will shift automatically after that. So just made sure that that was the most okayest, and from there it's just like butter. So yeah, that's the shifter linkage all hooked up, everything hooked up underneath there. So that should be good to go. Next up, let's come back over here. So I'm gonna put the front end on. I just want to end this on a big, like something got really done on this. So I'm gonna get the front end up in the air, get it bolted on. It's literally only 6 bolts, but getting it on, it's just gonna make the car look so much more complete, and I really don't have to have it off for any other reason anymore. Plus it's just taking up room on the floor there, over there. So let's throw it out in a minute. There we go, 6 bolts later, and it looks more like a car than ever. I still have some support pieces to do underneath the fender there. Ties into the frame rail because otherwise it gets a little flimsy. Some other pieces too that need to be bolted together, like the fender, inner fenders here to that section there. But I don't have the bolts for that right now. I got to run to the hardware store. I'll do that next week. It's not a big deal. But yeah, check that out. That's so cool. She looks so sleeperish. Like if you didn't, you know, just a little car with a little bit bigger wheels, and it'll be stupid loud. Awesome. So I think I'm actually gonna, what do I want to do next? I'm just gonna start throwing some stuff at it, like little things. I'll update you when I get caught up with what I want to get caught up with. So I went ahead and I installed the brake pedal, a few other little things, but I want to get the rear end looking more like a rear end. These are the factory lights. These are actually the original housings and lenses. They're not in bad condition. I went ahead and refurbished these right when I kind of got the car. It's got all new light housings in order to run blinkers in them as well, because you had to switch them up from like 1156 to an 1157 style bulb. That's what it has in there. No LED, nothing fancy. It's just going to work and look original. Same thing with these, but these do have LEDs inside them. These are the license plate lights. You'll see them once I put it on. Got the license plate bracket here. I'm just going to leave it, you know, crappy-ish. I mean, it's not in bad condition, but it matches the car perfectly. I got the bumper brackets over there too that I painted up. I broke some of the bumper bolts taking it off, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to throw the bumper back on or not, but I'm just trying to get where I can have a list, so when I go to the hardware store, I can get what I need. But for now, I'm going to throw all this on. Looks so much more complete. I love these so much. The bumperettes just makes it look so 50s. It's the right amount of crap. The lights look awesome. I am going to have to go and get some more. Where is it? So these guys here were just absolutely junk, as you can see. So I'm really hoping the hardware store has something similar. But for the meantime, I put the T-bolts in that were meant for the Mustang 2 front end. They actually have the same like square end as these did, so those actually worked out awesome in there. So if I need to, I'll use them, but I'd really like something stainless or chrome that I can kind of make match the bumper and stuff like that. I want to see the lights lit up. I want to see how bright they are and how just the ambiance of what this car has when it's all lit up. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just rig some wires up to the battery. I'll show you here in a second. And there you go. Obviously that isn't permanently wired up. It's just kind of rigged, but it's all assembled and just needs some wires ran to it and it's good to go. Yeah, if you guys made it this far in the video, really appreciate it. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. I mean, we're not that far off from this thing running. Look how awesome this is. Absolutely love it. Another weekend thrash in the books. Thanks for watching, guys.